Hello everyone. On this episode of Tinkering with Terrius, I just wanted to start off my Arduino series here. So this episode's just going to be a basics on how to get set up and what you'll need to follow along with the Arduino series. So you might be wondering, what exactly is Arduino? Well, in basic terms, Arduino is an electronics platform. It is an open source hardware and software environment that is easy to use and intended for everyone from beginners and students all the way up to professionals. It has a wonderful worldwide community that's made up of students, hobbyists, artists, programmers, professionals, you name it. People use Arduino for their projects. All of their contributions add up to an incredibly vast amount of knowledge that you can access via the Arduino forums, and they can be a great help to beginners and novices and even experts. The Arduino website itself certainly is a trove of knowledge as well, whether it's looking for guides or tutorials or you need some help so you go to the forums to ask advice. It is a very nice community that is built around this platform. Now of course if you want to, you can choose to just watch the videos. You don't have to actually follow along, but it might be more fun if you follow along. So in order to participate and follow along in this series, you are going to need an Arduino Uno, which is essentially the most basic entry-level Arduino that they make. It has everything integrated so that you don't have to worry about programming with a in-circuit serial programmer or anything like that. Now any Arduino Uno will work, but if possible I would recommend getting a starter kit from one of the manufacturers out there, whether it's a SparkFun Inventors kit or an Elegoo Super Starter kit or even an Adafruit starter pack for Arduino. They will all come in very handy because they include the components that you'll need in order to set up circuits, so like LEDs, resistors. Some of them will come with way fancier stuff than others, but it's definitely nice to have, and they'll also usually come with a few project ideas and guides on how to do those, as well as code snippets and everything you'll need for running the equipment they supply. To do anything with the Arduino, essentially what you're going to have to do is write a bit of code and upload it to the Arduino, and then the Arduino will run it. To do that, we are going to need an IDE, which is an integrated development environment. Now on the Arduino website here, you can come to the software tab and it brings you right to all of the IDE information. So you have a couple different choices. You can either use the web editor, which is an online version of the IDE. It lets you start coding right away. You don't have to install a bunch of drivers and stuff. It stores your sketches in the cloud, which is handy. And you'll always have the most up-to-date version. It is a very highly capable editor, but personally I like having a physical hard copy on my computer, so I always download the regular IDE here. So of course to download it for Windows, you would just click the Windows installer. Brings you to this page where you can of course donate some money if you want. If not, you just click just download. Save it to your computer and run it, and then that will install everything you need essentially. Depending on your Arduino Uno that you're using, it may or may not work out of the box with the IDE. Now this is more common in the cheaper Arduino Unos from AliExpress or eBay than it is from the starter kit ones. The eBay and AliExpress ones will be using a cheaper chipset in order to communicate to USB on your computer. Now there's nothing really wrong with the cheaper chipset, it's just it uses a different set of drivers that aren't installed by the Arduino IDE. Now if you're using a genuine Arduino or one that is using the Atmel chipset to communicate to USB, you'll have no problems. You'll be able to just plug and play and start programming immediately. But for The less expensive ones, like this little blue one here, you can actually see that the controller chip, which is located right here, is different than on this Elegoo one, which is controlled by this little tiny chip here. Now when you take a look close up on this chip, you'll see that it says that it is a CH340G, and that chipset is the one that is not immediately supported by the IDE, but it's easy to remedy. The forums have a couple threads about how to get it up and running, but no matter what, you'll have to come here to the wch.cn website. Everything on this website is in Chinese. There is no English version, but you could probably use Google Translate to make it slightly easier to read. But what you'll need to do is come here to the ch341ser.zip section, and you want to download that if you're running Windows. It will download a zip file that you'll have to unpack. It also has the Linux and the Mac drivers here for people running Linux or Mac. I'm not sure exactly the process on those, but I'm sure if you're running those operating systems, you'll be able to figure it out pretty easy. So once you download that and save it to your computer, you're going to want to unzip it, of course, and then once you've unzipped it, you'll be left with a folder here. Inside this folder is two directories. There's an install directory and a ch341ser directory. You don't want the install directory, you want the ser directory, and in here you just run the setup file. It'll install the driver to your system. If for some reason that setup file doesn't work, you might be running a 64-bit operating system and it might just not support the 32-bit driver that it's installing, in which case you can come here to drive setup 64 and run that. There's not much of a difference between those two installs. It's just one supports 64-bit and one supports 32-bit. I'm actually running the 32-bit on my 64-bit of Windows 10, so didn't seem to have any issues with that. So once everything is installed and set up, what you want to do here is launch the Arduino IDE. Now you want to do this without the Arduino actually plugged in, because we're going to come in here and we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to make sure that the board is set to Arduino Uno. The other thing to note here right now in the Tools menu is whether or not it has a COM port listed under Ports. If it doesn't, that's fine. If it does, just make a note. Pay attention to that. That is not going to be your Arduino, so it's important to know that that is not the Arduino. And then what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the Arduino, and that will tell us which COM port it's going to be on. So I'm going to plug in the less expensive Chinese one first. Just to show you how that shows up in the setup here. Under port, it shows up as COM port 4. So you'll see that before we had just COM 1, and now we have COM 4 as well. So by doing that, you'll know exactly which one is the Arduino. It's whichever the newest one that pops up in the list is. So once you select that, you can begin writing code to your Arduino. There are some demo sketches and stuff on here, one that blinks the light and all sorts of stuff like that that you can play with. Now when you plug in the genuine Arduino, or the one simply using the other chipset here, you'll see under ports it actually comes up and tells you that it's an Arduino Uno. So it identifies that, it knows what it is, it makes it really easy to figure out which one of the COM ports is what you want. So that's another reason it's a little bit easier to buy one of the proper kits as a beginner because it identifies itself rather than having to use the Chinese one, which just says comport something. Now that everything is all set up, you're all ready to begin your Arduino journey. I hope you'll join me for my next episode where we'll start to work with the Arduino and do a little project and hopefully have some fun. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the section below, or you can email me or tweet me. I do enjoy hearing feedback about my videos, and I also enjoy answering any questions or trying to find answers for questions if I can. Don't forget to like or dislike the video depending on how you feel about it. And of course, feel free to share it with whoever you want, really. If you enjoy tinkering with Terrius, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to see a couple more episodes, there should be some popping up on the screen here now, and if you want to subscribe, you can just click on the gears in the middle and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.